Hey y'all, it's me, it's your girl, the Glow Up Is, and I'm so excited to be here with you all. Man, happy Friday to each and every single one of you. I hope and pray that this message touches you, right? Because what we do, right, at the Glow Up is we grow to glow, right? And so last week we kind of talked about relationships and I want to make sure that we expound upon that. And I want to make sure we take our time with understanding relationships because relationships is really a huge thing, right? But we were also talking about love because what is love without a relationship? Love is the foundation of a real relationship, right? And we were talking about that last week. And if you weren't here last week, please feel free to go back to last week's video. It will bless you. But I hope and pray again that each and every single one of you are doing great, man. This is what we do, right? At the Glow Up Is, man. We unmask ourselves. We're not ashamed. We're professing. We're being truthful with ourselves. We're taking the mask off, right? We're being uncomfortable. We're doing the work to try to grow. We're trying to make sure that we glow, right? We're growing, but we're glowing too all at the same time. We want to make sure that we're shining, that the light is shining, that God's light is shining, right? That God is doing a new thing in each and every single one of us every single day, right? But we are always in the works of becoming, and that's a beautiful thing. And so I kind of wanted to touch back on last week, right? Because we talked about relationships, we talked about love, right? And we talked about what love was, but we also talked about loving God and receiving God's love. Because if we can't receive God's love, right, then we're not going to be able to give that love to nobody else. And I think that the scripture that we had talked about, because I think that sometimes, right, we get it misconstrued. We get so caught up in the world's definition of what love is versus what God says love is. And that's a real thing, right? So I thought that it was funny because the crazy thing about it is, right, is that we as a people and as women, right, we want the fairy tale. We've always been taught this thing called fairy tale. Fairy tales are not real. Okay. You create your own fairy tale in this world. You create it, right? Because you got to live in this world, but you're not of the world. And that's a whole nother beast, right? We live in this world as believers. We live in this world, but we're not of the world. And that's a real thing too, right? And so I just want to touch base on the scripture that I read on last week. And so we were talking about Matthew chapter 22, verse 36 through 40. And it says, Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law? Jesus replied, Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it, love your neighbor as yourself. So I just thought that was so funny, right? Because I think sometimes we miss out, we miss things when we're reading because God literally says in the word, He says, love the Lord with your love. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. He wants you to love him with everything that you are, right? He wants to be your thoughts. He wants to be your mind. He wants to be your soul. He wants to be your heart. He wants to be every single piece. And I just think that it's so amazing because he literally, when he says, love the Lord with all your heart, like the heart is there, right? But then he wants you to love you with your soul. And the crazy thing about it is you can't touch the soul. You can't touch the soul. You can't even see the soul. God wants us to love him in that way, right? With those things. And then he also wants us to love us with all of with our minds, with our thoughts, with everything that we are, whatever we're thinking, he just wants to be in there, right? He wants us to just love him, right? He should be the first thought of the day. And y'all, I woke up yesterday. Was it the day before? I think it was maybe the day before because I did a video about it. And if you want to, you can check me out on TikTok. I'm on the Glow Up Is on TikTok. But it blessed me too, right? Because I just woke up and I was just like, man, I'm just so thankful to just breathe God's air. Like I couldn't even think about anything else because I think about all of the people that have loved me who said that they loved me, but they really didn't mean it. Right. Because what I noticed is that it's easy for people to say that they love you, but they don't really show you. But I'm just so thankful for God's love. I'm so thankful that God still shows favor. God still loves me even when I don't deserve it, right? Because people will fail you all day long, but God's love never fails and he will never stop loving you, even when you do some of the most craziest things in the world. There is nothing that can separate us from the love of God. Y'all heard me. There's nothing that can separate us from the love of God. And it just blessed me. And I just love him for that because he is just so wonderful. God is just so good. But anyways, I wanted to get on here, man, today because, I wanted to do part two, man, because there's so many different things that we deal with on a regular basis in this life. And I think sometimes we get it misconstrued. I thought this was funny too when he says, and the second is like it, love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. So basically, right, if we love God with everything that we are, and then we love ourselves, we love our neighbors as we love ourselves, right? Then we can really basically say that you're going to keep all of the rest of the commandments. So honoring your mother and father, you're going to do that because you love God, right? And then you love your neighbor as you love yourself. So you're going to love, you're easily going to honor your mother and father. You're not going to kill. You're not going to steal. You're not going to do all of those things. So that's why he said, you know what? These are the two greatest commandments. This, if you do these two things, the rest of them you're going to already do. And I just thought that was so funny that he was talking about that. And then when he said, and the second is like it, I was like, really? So in the second is like it, when he says, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind, this is the first and greatest commandment, right? And then the second is like it, love your neighbor as yourself. And I sat there for a minute. I was like, wait a minute. The thing that got me was, and the second is like it. And I'm like, well, God, how does that even compare to you? But then what God gave me is that you were created in my image, right? You were created in my image. So because you were created in my likeness and my image, what I want you to do is, right, is that I want you to be able to love them the same way that I'm giving you this love. The same way that you're giving me all of this love, all with all your heart, all your soul, everything that you got, everything that you are, right? I want you to be able to give that to your neighbor too. I want me, right? Because when you're giving me everything that you are, now you're also taking on my traits, right? You're taking on my love and you're receiving my love, and then you're allowing my love to marinate in your heart. And when you allow my love to marinate in your heart, right, then you can begin to really love your neighbor as you really love you, because can't nobody love you like God can. Like God is the only one that can love you and fulfill you. Like this is a real thing. I think that it's so simple, right? Because I literally was on the phone tonight, right? And I was literally on the phone with a customer for a good while. And I was supposed to be off literally 5:30. And I usually do this at 5:45. But it was literally like this man literally got on his phone. They start talking about all of these different things, right? Except the things that I needed for him to talk about. But then at the same time, he started talking about his girlfriend. And I didn't want to interrupt him because I feel like sometimes in life, right, we interrupt people or we just dismiss them because we feel like our time is precious. And so in that moment, I began to think about me loving God, but then also loving on his people, right? And I felt like he needed an outlet, right, in that moment. So I didn't mind being outlet. And then I was like, hey, I'm still on the clock anyways, right? So let me just go ahead on. I'm not gonna be mean. I'm not gonna do nothing. Then he still had me doing other stuff afterwards, right? Even after the time was gone. But anyways, if I wasn't not in a position to be able to receive the love that God had given me first, right, I would not be able to have implemented that same love and grace to him, because God gives me grace, because God has forgiven me, right? And because God is patient with me, and because God is kind to me, and because God is gentle with me, and he's not easily angered with me, right? And he doesn't keep any records of wrongdoings with me, right? Then I'm not going to do that with my neighbor. Ouch. That's a real thing. And I think sometimes, right, again, we get so caught up in this world and what this idea of love is versus what love really truly is, that we get so caught up in the things that we want versus what God wants for our lives, right? God wants us to really truly love and to really understand and be able to comprehend the love, right? To even try to comprehend the love. Sometimes we can't even comprehend the love that God has for us. And I don't know about y'all, man, but I don't want to be connected to anybody or anyone, right, that I'm not necessarily supposed to be connected to. And I just thought this was so funny, right? Because the customer was talking about his relationship, but then I had kind of got dabbled into mine a little bit, right? Because the thing that was wild is that, you know, people connect with what they connect to, right? And I felt like it was a reason for me. It was a reason and was a purpose why he was on that phone call, that he needed to hear it. Because the thing is that sometimes we don't recognize and we don't realize things until we get older. And me, I'm pushing 40, right? I'll be 40 after a while. And so with that being said, right, I come to grips with The simple fact that I'm just like, okay, God, I see you, I hear you, and I want you, and you know that I love you, right? But I also want to be able to show it to you. And so, because I show it to you, I want to be able to be, if I'm being put in any type of position to be able to show people love, then that's what I want to do. That's what I'm going to do, right? Because that's the mission, is to show love. And so, even me showing love to this man, because of the different things that he said he was going through, he was saying about his girlfriend, how many, how many times that, he was like, I'm not with her, but we just been so back and forth. But sometimes I just don't see the red flag. Sometimes I'm just such a nice person, right? I could just be such this nice person, and I'm constantly doing for her, but she doesn't feel like I'm giving her enough, right? He just doesn't. And so I'm like, maybe you all just need to have a conversation, right? And kind of figure out what's important to her, right? Because what's important to her may not be as important to you, but maybe because it's important to her and because you show interest in it, right? And you take some opportunity to try to get to know, right, and to get to learn what it is that she's trying to show you, right, or tell you. And I think that that's a real thing too. We as women, man, we cannot think that a person knows our mind, or that they know. Just because you've known me for as long as you've known me, like, that doesn't necessarily mean that I can't learn from you, that I can't grasp from you, that I can't get something new from you, right? They talk about you can't teach an old dog new tricks. You definitely can, right? You definitely can, but that person has to be willing. And that's a whole nother beast, because the thing is, right, nowadays it's like we're just hooking up to be hooking up. And I was kind of listening to him, and it kind of made me a little disturbed a little bit, because the thing was, right, is that he said something that was so funny to me. And I was just like, wow, that's crazy. He was like, I've never chased a woman. And I said, what do you mean? He was like, I've never chased a woman. I've literally gone after like food and, chase those type of things, chase my dreams, but I've never chased a woman. And I said, that's funny, because you were called to do that. You were called to hunt. You were called to actually choose your wife. Like, you are the lead, right? You are the head, right? And it was just very disappointing to hear that. And I was just like, well, great day, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't necessarily out of judgment. And I told him this. I said, it's not out of judgment or anything, but I think that, right now you're out of order. And I think that's the reason why the relationships haven't, right, been working for you, is because you've allowed the relationships to find you. And I think that that's a real cue of a red flag, whether or not if the woman has seeked you out, or whether or not if you seeked her out. I'm not saying that a woman can't address and say what she wants to say to a man, and she can't be upfront with what she wants. I'm not telling you that at all. I'm not saying that at all. Like, to each his own, right? But for me, at the end of the day, like, I'm not gonna just be out here, literally out here looking for a man. I'm just not. I'm not chasing no man either. And that's just facts for me. Latoya ain't, because Latoya knows her worth. Latoya knows her values, and Toya know exactly what Toya wants and Toya needs, because God has already revealed that to me. Okay. And I think that's a real thing too. It's like, stop projecting. People need to stop projecting their own experiences and own different things. Like, your experiences are your experiences, and that's great, right? You can share those things, but don't expect people, right, to do exactly what you did. Like, just, it's okay for them to not have done what you did, right? And then, for those who have already done it or whatever, right? Don't feel bad because you did make those choices. It's okay. Like, we've all made some bad choices, right? And I can honestly say, in relationship wise, I've made some poor choices. I've made some bad choices. But me in my 30s, in my late 30s, God bless, honey, no, no, no. Toya will be by herself for the rest of her life. Okay. Latoya will be by herself for the rest of her life. Okay. If Latoya has to be the one to go out and just, no, I'm not going to be the man. I'm not a man. It wasn't put in me to be a man. So I'm not a man. I'm not going to do that. I'm not even going to say I'm going to be the man in this relationship. That don't even sound right. I'm going to be the woman in the relationship. And if I'm the woman, that's just what it is. I ain't going to be no man. I'm not giving the man credit for doing nothing that I'd have got done. No, that was God, and God gave me the strength and the power to get here to where I got to get to. So it was me and God. Me and God as a team, right? I'm married to the Lord until my husband comes and sees me, and he makes that declaration, and he professes that love between myself and God and witnesses, right? And that's a real thing, because at the end of the day, listen, I ain't got time to be playing house with nobody. You see what I'm saying? And so that's the thing too. And that's why I said relationships are so important, because sometimes, y'all, we get so caught up in the fairy tale. We get so caught up in this world, and this world has literally messed us up to make us think that love is lust. Lust is a temporary feeling. Lust is a desire, right? Of it could be physical attraction, it could be all of these different things, right? That attracts you to them. You lust after them, but you never love them. And I think that that's a real thing. We trauma bond. Like that's a whole nother beast, right? God says, I want all of your heart, all of your soul, all of your mind. So if you're giving God all of your heart, all of your soul, all of your mind, you don't even have time to trauma bond. You don't even have time to be able to try to build something or try to heal somebody or try to fix somebody. It's not your job to heal that person. It's not your job to fix that person. Stop saying these things. Who is saying these things? Oh my God. And it's just so bad because we've literally signed off on them because it sounds good, and it aids our ego, and it makes the enemy very proud because the enemy knows what love is. He's actually experienced love, right? He's actually experienced love. He experiences the things that it is that we want, that one of the things that God is willingly, openly, willingly giving you every single day, but you choose not to receive the love that it is that he has for you, but you want this love over here from this knucklehead, or you want it over here from this girl. Like, huh? Help it make sense. It's not making sense, right? Because the thing is that when he says, man, I want you to love me with all your heart, all your soul, everything that you got. Are you even loving him in the same way that you even loving that man or that woman? And the crazy thing about it is we need to stop saying that God has put us together. Hello? Crickets. I'm just saying we got to stop saying God chose him for me. God chose her for me. God didn't choose nobody for you. God don't make those choices. God gives us free will. God doesn't even choose you. God doesn't even choose him for you. You have to choose him. He's already chosen you. This is a beautiful thing. And this is the reason why God says that it is not fit for man to be alone. And this is exactly why he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing, because the man is choosing, but you still get to say yes because you have your free will as the woman. So even though the man is out here seeking, okay, he is seeking and he's out here choosing. He's merely supposed to be a reflection of God's heart for you. That is exactly what he's supposed to be. You're supposed to be a reflection of God's heart for him. Period. That's exactly what it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be purpose partners. That's what this is supposed to be. But we're not doing the things that we're supposed to be doing because we're getting misconstrued with lust. We're getting misconstrued because we got our feelings in it. And again, we talk about the heart, right? We talk about the heart and how deceitful it really is. The heart is deceitful. Who can know it? Out of the heart flows the issues of life. Solomon says that. This is the wisest man in the world. He asked for wisdom. This is what he said. And we keep putting stuff inside of our hearts. We could keep putting people in our hearts that God didn't even say yes to. Did you even ask God? Was it okay for you to even allow this person to even have your heart? How you gonna give something away that don't even belong to you? Child. Listen, y'all, I get so worked up with these things because I sit here and I think about it and I'm like, God, I had to literally ask God for forgiveness because I said, God, I gave that man my heart and I didn't even ask you, was it okay? God, help me with that. Help me to get it right. Help me to be able to understand this thing. Help me to be able to make a better choice the next time. And God says, have you looked at the word? Have you seen what I say about what love is? So you can choose right? Right? God doesn't choose for us who our person is. It's not just one person out here for you. There's plenty of people out here in all different shapes and sizes and colors and everything. Like, get your mind right. Like, y'all, this is real. Like, it's so crazy because I hear people all the time. This is my person. That was just my person. So that person is just your person. It ain't no other people out here for you. Yeah, it is. That's a lie. Who told you that there's a such thing really as a soulmate? Who told you that? Who told you these things? Like man has really literally tried to been in competition with the Lord for a long time. And it's so crazy because I sit here and I just think about that and I'm just like, man, like seriously? Like the enemy has literally came into this world, created all of these lies, to create all of these myths, and to made people think, right? That it's a soulmate out here. That is just one person designed for you. That person is just, oh my God, this is my person, and this is my listen. It's so many people out here, and that could be your person today, but that don't mean that may be your person tomorrow. I'm just saying, like, he may be your person today, but he may not be your person tomorrow. This thing is real, y'all. Listen, we got to be real with ourselves. And I think that when we are real with ourselves and we recognize, right, the issues that we have, and we begin to heal ourselves, right? We begin to allow God to heal us. We begin to allow God to create us and make us whole, right? Because one is a whole number. And I said it, man, listen, relationships is really one of the biggest things for me that is so important, man. Love is so important. God is love. Never get it confused, never get it twisted. Okay. God is love. I understand what the definition is. And we talk about anxious feelings. We talk about all of these things, burning desire feelings, and all this thing, all of these different things in the dictionary that I saw with the word love. And I was just like, okay, the world is confused. This is why the world is confused, because we have a dictionary telling us what love is. When God says, wait a minute, I loved you so much that I sent my son, I sent myself in human flesh to die for you. I loved you that much. Does he? Does he love you that much that he's willing to die for you? Does he love you that much? Does she love you that much that she's willing to sacrifice? Right? That she's willing to sacrifice her own, ideas of what she feels, is best for her to pick up and follow you. Are you even capable of leading? Like, these are real things, y'all, because it's deeper than love, man. That's why I said we have to be mindful of what we choose and who we choose, man, even to partner with, because it's a real thing. And I was talking to some of my family. I just love my family so much. And we were talking about purpose partner today. We were talking about marriage today, right? And I was talking to them, and it was so funny because I was like, man, in a partnership, marriage is a true partnership. And the reason it's so funny because people tell me all the time, like, how in the world can you even speak on marriage? How in the world can you speak on being a mom? How can you speak on all of these different things? Because I was trained to. That's why. Because I have an education in those things that qualifies me to actually speak on those things. I just cannot diagnose you, right? I can diagnose you, but I cannot write you a prescription. Let's be clear. Like, yeah, I'm gonna throw that out there. I'm gonna throw that out there because people be really literally playing with me in my face. And they be forgetting, like, hold on, Toya went to school for this. So yeah, I may not have children, with me or whatever, but I do understand the dynamic and importance, right, of relationships with your children. And I also understand too how a marriage should work, right? It's not just also just based on, actual factual information, like psychological wise, right? But I'm talking about just mere spirit right now, right? Because that's what we're talking about on tonight. We're talking about how God does those things, right? And so when we were talking about marriage, because again, I just wanted to say that I'm qualified to speak on this, even though I'm not married. But I was just like, man, with a marriage, it is a true partnership. You have to be open and honest with yourself, right? But then also, too, God says it's not fit for man to be alone. And so because God said it won't fit for man to be alone, you should be able to depend on your person, your partner. You should be able to depend on your husband or your wife. You should be able to depend on them. And if you can't depend on them, that means that you already got a broken partnership, right? Because this is the thing. It's that, and I see it all the time. And that's why I just sit here and I think about it, because I'm like, man, you got two people. That means that there's two incomes coming in, right? And even when, times get hard, things get tough sometimes, right? I know, and I understand that sometimes things can get tough where it's just like maybe one person is doing more than the other, and that's okay. But it's always something where you should be able to talk to your partner and share with your partner. There should be a safe space. That person should be able to correct you. That person should be able to help grow you. If you're not growing in your partnership with this person and that person is not growing with you, then you probably are with the wrong person. This is a real thing, because there should be some evidence of some type of fruit somewhere, whether or not if it was whether or not if it was physical kids. And I ain't talking about just physical kids at this point, because it should be deeper than that. That's just surface level. You having children and procreating the way that God intended for us to, yeah, that's cool. But what else have you done on this earth, right? What else have you done? What have you sowed any type of seeds, any in other ways? Right. And I'm talking about whether or not have you smiled. Has anyone ever come up to you to ask them, what must I do to be saved? I want to serve the God that you serve. Has anybody ever asked you that? Has anybody ever asked you or sat there and had conversations with you and asked you to pray for them or pray over them? Maybe your life don't exemplify that. Maybe they don't even feel like I need to talk to you. Maybe you have people in your life, right? Because this is the thing, right? And this is how you know you're one of those people, right? It's just good energy. Period. It's just good energy. And sometimes you just feel that energy and you're just like, man, I just want to be connected to that energy. I just want to be in that presence. I just want to be close to them. Listen, I had and I do not mentor anybody. I do not mentor anybody. Now maybe I should, but I don't mentor anybody, right? But I just thought that was not hilarious, but I was just like, really, me? And she was like, yeah. She was like, girl, I'll follow you anywhere. And I was just like, wow. So I had met this girl, and I had trained her at work. That's what I do. And so I was talking to her, and she wanted to start her business, and she's married and she has two children. And I was like, man, I said, that's awesome. She was like, yes, so I got my job here, and I wanted to help my husband out, help my husband out some, because he had kind of taken a hit with the money or whatever at the house, because I had, he wanted me, and we decided as a couple, right, as partners, that I was going to go ahead and help raise the kids, and get them off to school, and then once they get off to school, then I'll go back to work, and then we can figure out our dream stuff, right? But he has actually worked himself to the point where he's literally got his dream, and so he's exactly where he wants to be. The kids are now in school, and I'm still working, Toy, and I'm like, okay, well, that's great. I said, but you don't seem happy. And she said, I'm not. And I said, okay, you're not happy, so let's talk about it, right? And so the more that she began to talk about this thing, and she was just like, I have so many different things that I know that I'm good at, but then some things I don't even know if I'm good at. And I was like, okay, well, why don't you take some time, right, and figure out what you're good at, and then you can kind of figure out what you're good at, and whatever you're good at, maybe you can keep doing that, right? And so she literally did wigs for a little while. Then after she did the wig, she was like, I don't think whether or not it hair's for me. So I think I'm going to try candles. And then after she tried the candles, she was like, no, I don't think the candles for me either. So then she started getting into the food service, right? And then now this girl has her food truck. She's literally out here doing it. Okay. And she's getting all different types of catering deals, all of these different types of things, because the crazy part is, right, is that sometimes we need people in our lives who's going to tell us, go for it. People that we love, people that literally are supposed to be a part of our journey, right? And maybe you're not supposed to be a part of everybody's journey in that season. But I was thankful to be a part of her journey in that season, because even now she will literally tell me, thank you, sis, for just always supporting me. Thank you for always just saying, these different things. And I just thought that was so dope. But I was just like, man, she saw something in me. She saw the God in me, right? That made her want to, go and chase her dreams. And she's living her dreams. She left the job. Like, she left the job. She's been gone now for about 6 years, and she's doing her own thing. And I'm just like, man, maybe, yeah, 6 years, because she started working somewhere else and got her foot in the door, and then left from there, learned the stuff, and then now she got her own stuff now. So I'm so proud of her. But God is good. God is good. And this is why I say we have to make sure, right, that we're connected to people who are living it, who's trying their hardest to live right, who's trying their hardest, right, to love right, even when we don't want to. And y'all, listen, I'm not telling you to love every single person that you need to continue to love them and continue to love. What I'm saying? I'm not telling you to give your love like to the point where, what I'm saying, you just have people abusing your love. That's not what I'm saying. I don't want that to get misconstrued. I want you to love people regardless. But what I'm saying is too, right? You have to be mindful of your boundaries with people as well, right? Because that's a real thing, right? I still love people. My love for them never changes, man. My love for people will never change. I love people. I love all of the crazy things, even when they acting crazy, weird, all of that stuff, even when they treat me differently. I don't care. I still love them. I pray for them all the time, right? Um, but what I'm realizing in this season of my life and where I'm at, and I think this is a real thing too, I think that it's very key point to a lot of times, right, to evaluate the season that you're in, because you got to be real with yourself. It's not by accident that I'm talking about relationships, because relationships is literally the mere foundation of where love derives from. Like love, there would be no love at all, right? Because God decided that He wanted to create man in His image and His likeness. And I just think that that is so dope that God breathed breath into us and He decided to love on us in that way. Like, y'all, it's so important for us to recognize that and realize that. And God doesn't want us to waste time, to keep wasting time on people who is abusing our love, who's taking us for granted. And you know when people begin to take you for granted, you know when people are dealing with you when it's only beneficial. You know what that is. Right. And the crazy thing about it is, it's like, what really do I have to benefit out of this? Am I getting anything? I'm not really getting anything in return. You see what I'm saying? And so this is a real thing, y'all. We got to be real open and honest with ourselves. And when God says love your neighbors as you love yourself, yeah, you do. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we still have to be mindful because we don't want people to abuse it, right? We still love them. And we just got to continue to pray for them because we know, even to the president of the United States, doing some ignorant stuff right now. It's a lot of things that's happening right now in this world, right? We are in unprecedented times, right? We are definitely in these different times right now. Yes, sis, we got to ask ourselves the hard questions. It's a real thing. We do. We got to be real with ourselves. Like I think that sometimes, man, we just get things just so mind boggled. We just get so caught up in the ways of this world because we live in it. And as believers, if you are truly a believer, and I'm not saying that everybody on here is a believer, but I hope and pray that you find your way, right? I hope and pray that you find your way if you're not a believer. You don't have to actually go to church in order to believe, right? You don't actually have to go to church in order to receive Christ. You can receive Him right now where you're at. All you literally have to do is believe in your heart and confess out of your mouth, and you are saved. It's that simple. It really, really is. And then get you a Bible. You know what I'm saying? Get you a Bible and start getting in that word and start allowing Him to love on you the way that you need to be loved. But yeah, we do. We got to start asking these hard questions within ourselves, but we also got to start asking hard questions to people, right? Because listen, you can't just be my friend just to be my friend. You can't just be connected to me just to be connected to me. I need to know. You know what I'm saying? Like I need to know what I'm getting myself into. I need to know what I'm connected to. You get what I'm saying? Because I don't know about y'all, but listen, I don't want to be connected to phoniness. I don't want to be connected to people that I don't know, that I'm not aware of. I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be connected to bad fruit because what happens is mold can then be connected to me. I don't want nothing that's molded. I want good fruit. I want good seed. I want good soil. You see what I'm saying? I want all of that. I don't want none of that extra stuff. I don't want the weeds around me to try to choke me out. I don't want that. So we got to ask the hard questions. Absolutely, sis. And we got to be real with ourselves, man. Like these people, sometimes we don't even realize it, but the people that sometimes we connect ourselves to become a mirror of us. Listen. Oh my gosh. Listen, that's a real thing. Oh my God. Y'all, did y'all hear what I just said? Sometimes these people around us, they become a mirror of us. Whether or not if we bonded with them over trauma, whether or not we bonding or we running from things that we don't supposed to be running away from. Yeah, like y'all, I don't know about y'all, but I'm tired of wasting time. I ain't got no more. It ain't in me no more. And I was literally, I told that guy on the phone at night, I was like, listen, I ain't chasing nobody. I ain't never had to chase nothing in my life. I ain't never have to chase nothing. Okay. Listen, it's always found its way to me and it always will because I am she. And I'm gonna say that because I am she. And that's the confidence that you gotta have. That's that Godfidence, that Godfidence. Okay. God be just out here just woo, like reminding me of who I am and who I is. Who we is. Because it's a real thing. But y'all, listen, we just got to be open and honest and truthful. We don't always get it right. And we're not going to always get it right. And that's absolutely fine. But what we got to do is make sure there's an effective effort. There should be an effective effort. If we out here literally connecting ourselves to men, okay, that ain't putting no type of effective effort. I ain't talking about just effort because effort is just basic stuff. That's just mediocre, right? I'm talking about effective effort. I'm talking about that stuff where you be like, great day, you can feel it through the phone. Okay. You can feel it all the way in your shanana. You be like, whoa, Lord, hold on, wait a minute now. You get what I'm saying? Like it's evident that this man is who he says he is. Like, is he easily angered? Does he keep records of wrongdoing? Is he patient? Is he kind? Now, I ain't telling you now because we do have people that do have those one offs and we be ready to write them off. No, we ain't doing that because we ain't, we're not going to do that. Okay. People have that one offs. People are entitled to be exactly human. And that's one of those things too that I'm always constantly praying on. God, help me to be able to receive the things that I don't want to receive. Help me to be able to receive and understand that people got lives outside of me. Help me to be able to understand too, Lord, that the world does not revolve around Toya. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I'm just saying, listen, because sometimes for me, I get to a place where I'm just like, I expect things, right? And I expect things the way that I want them to be, right? Because I can easily be a person. I'm just one of those people that if something ain't done, I'm just gonna get it done. Okay. I ain't got time to sit there and wait for you. If I asked you to do this for me 5 minutes ago and it still ain't done, I'm gonna get it done. I'm just gonna do it because I don't have time nor the patience for it, right? But the Lord is actually helping me with that because what I'm realizing too is that everything don't work on my time. You get what I'm saying? And I'm also being gracious to myself and graceful to myself, extending myself even more grace, but extending it to other people too. Because even with that too, ain't nobody taking advantage of that grace either. Listen, I'm gonna tell you what, not over here. Nope, 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 nope. Because the love is so powerful. God's love is so great for me because He loves me and because I love him and I'm giving him his love, and he gives me that love back, I can begin to give it to other people. And it's not tarnished. I'm not in my feelings about anything, right? I'm just willingly, freely giving it, right? And I'm just like, God, okay, this person did this person did that. Let me look at the overall person. And one of my friends gave me this shout out to my friend. She knows exactly who she is, but she was talking about that one day. She was like, sis, you just got to look at it individually. You just got to allow that person to just show you exactly who they are, right? But you got to be able to look at them as the person overall. Like, what are the things that they've contributed to your life? And a lot of people didn't make the list. Let's literally, y'all, I had 390 some contacts in my phone. Okay. And I was like, how in the world do I got all these people in my phone and I don't talk to them? How in the world do I have all of these people in my phone? And what I realized is that I was going through them one by one, one by one. And the more that I began to go through them one by one, right, I realized that I was literally holding on to people that were no longer holding on to me. I was holding on to people in hopes of that one day maybe they'll text me, right? Maybe they'll text me back. So the crazy thing about it is, you know what Latoya did? I removed every single person up out of there. Okay, I got about 50, I think it's 58 people out of the 390 something that I think it was like 398 people that I had in my phone. And I'm sitting there like, girl, what in the world? You don't even talk to 398 people. Like, get the people out your phone. And even to the 58 people that's in my phone, those people are not actually people. So I thought that was kind of dope. They're actually businesses. Like, I might need, pizza here and there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I order me a pizza or something. And I'm just saying, like, like my hair person, me getting my hair done, my doctor's office, all of those things. So all of them are not actual people. So, I mean, I think that I may actually have maybe 30 people actual numbers in my phone because I'm thinking, but then again, it may be 28 and it may be 30 businesses that I have in my phone now, including the 411 and all of that that's attached to my phone. But anyways, I digress. You get the drift. We just got to be mindful of our habits. We got to unlearn our habits, man. We got to unlearn what this world has told us what love is. We really do. And it starts with ourselves. And the only way that we can get to the promised land, the only way that we can get to, fulfill the promise that God has for us and to be able to fulfill, the purpose that God has for us, to fulfill the purpose that God has for us, not the promise, but to fulfill the purpose and to receive the promise that God has for our lives, right, is to be able to love people, to be able to show love, and to be able to unlearn the habits because only love can cover those things up, right? Only love could cover the sins. God literally had to come for us. Like he had to show us the way. He had to show us what love was in order for us to truly be able to receive the love, but for us also to be able to exemplify it, right? We wouldn't be able to know what love is or be able to show what love is if Christ hadn't come. Like if God didn't come in human form to show us the way, we would not be able to know what that would even be like, what that would even sound like, or how it would even maneuver through. We wouldn't know how to receive it. We wouldn't know, what's best for us. We wouldn't know. And so that's a real thing, man. And that's why I said like we have to be mindful of those things because it's a real thing. Like we really do have to be mindful of them. And so I'm always constantly just thanking God every day for his love. I'm always just thanking him for his unwavering, unfailing love because the love, man, that love is priceless. And when you do have people who do show up for you, who do love you, even when you're going through your mess, even when sometimes you're overthinking, even when sometimes you get so caught up in worrying, or you get so caught up in things of the world, right? Because we live in this world. And sometimes it's easy for us. It's easier said than done, right? And that was something that I was going to with the believers, and I wanted to pick this back up when I said that we live in this world, we're not of this world. And I say that because we are true believers. True believers, man. Listen, if you're on here today, this is for you to be reminded, right, that we live in this world, that we are foreigners in this land. What I need for you to continue to be reminded of, right, is that you do not, okay, you do not, and I say it respectfully, of course, right, is that we walk by faith, not by sight. Believers, we walk by faith, not by sight. I know sometimes it's easier said than done, right? Because we see the news, we see all of the things, we see the bills, we see all of these different things that's going on around us. We have all of the things that's trying to take us up out of here, right? We even have sometimes our health. That sometimes things can be discouraging, right? We continue to go to doctor after doctor trying to get all these different diagnoses, all of these different things, right? That can literally make us crazy. But the constant that's in there is God's love. That's the constant that's in it all. And those are the things that we have to constantly make sure that we're reminding ourselves of, is that we're doing a due diligence with the faith that God has given us, right? Renewed faith, renewed mind, right? Ask God for a renewed mind. Ask Him to restore you. They're not perfect. We're none of us are, right? But God is perfecting our imperfections. Let Him perfect those imperfections. Let Him have His way in our lives. Allow him, say yes to God. God, yes. Just go back to remember when you first gave him your life. Where were you when you gave God your life to him? When you said, yes, God, I'll follow you. Yes, God, I want to just trust you. Yes, God, I believe that your son died for my sins. Yes, God, and rose again. I just thank you, Lord, for your unfailing love. Like, I just cannot thank God enough for his unfailing love, his unwavering love for us, his heart for us, and it just breaks my heart that we think of love as a mere feeling, that we think of love as a mere, as mere lust. It hurts me to my heart to think that, you know? And I think that once we begin to really deep dive into our relationship with God, then we can begin to receive that love and know that love, right? We can begin to know that love. So then that way we can actually go out and figure it out. We can go out and figure out, okay, God, you showed me the love. I've been with you so long now. And I know you told me that you'll never leave me nor forsake me, right? And this is the beautiful thing. God would never leave you. So because he will never leave you, you have love right there with you at all times. So you can always just say, okay, God, I'm putting you in. God, what do you think about this man? What do you think about this woman? God, what do you think? And God is like, look, listen, do it line up with my word? Do it line up with the things? Is it everything that I thought? Is it everything that you thought it was? Or are you seeing red flags? Because sometimes what happens is, right, we ignore the red flags because we love a person because we've been with them so long. And I hear it all the time, man. It is so sad. It's so sad. Like we literally have women that literally are holding husbands hostage. This is the sad part. Women are holding husbands hostage that belong to a whole nother woman, okay? That belong to a whole nother woman, and they're miserable in those relationships. because they thought that they would be the ones to help them grow. They thought that they would be the ones to help them become the best version of themselves, but they have not, okay, even met the woman that God has even want them to choose, all because they decided to marry or actually make babies with their assignment and still trying to make it work. Ooh, that's a real thing. Now, will God give you grace? Absolutely, He will. But if this is just a mere relationship and you just like, shoot, I'm just baby father or baby mama or whatever, right? Then it's time for you to reevaluate that relationship and start thinking, am I here because I love and this is of God, right? Does this love really match what God is really saying? Or am I just in it because it's something to do? Or this was what I saw when I was growing up. So I'm just gonna keep the cycle going. Oh, okay. No. I don't know about y'all, but listen, I don't want to be nobody's. I'm not. I'm just gonna say that. I'm not nobody's baby mama. I'm sorry. I'm just not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing against baby mamas, right? I just don't like that. I just don't like that. I don't that something does not sit well with me. I like mother of your child better. I don't like baby mama. I don't like that. I'm just like, that's so disrespectful. I don't like that for you. I don't like that for us at all. Like you are the mother of his kids, and that's it. And you still are the daughter of God. You belong to God first. And make sure you let that man know that you belong to God first. Make sure you let that woman know that you belong to God first. You ain't just her baby daddy. I don't like that either. Baby daddy, I'm the father of your kids. That's what I am. That's what I am. That's what I am. And if we choose to be together because this is something that we really want, because guess what? Two people got to want it too. People have to do the work. People have to want it. My God, this thing is a real thing. But anyways, I love y'all. And I'm gonna get up off of here because I've been on here now for a good 46 minutes. Yeah. So I will see y'all next week. We will continue on with relationships. I think next week maybe we'll talk about um I don't know yet, but I think relationships. I think we need to stay on this topic though for a little while. And kind of like do some more digging because I think we still got some more growing to do when it comes to relationships, our relationship with God, our relationships with people. But maybe we'll talk about partnership, purpose partner next week. Maybe focus on that a little bit next week. Purpose partner. Maybe we'll do that. Wherever the Lord takes me, y'all know I've never had written anything on here. So I'm always just going because I truly believe, listen, when God puts something in me, he always just makes a move. He always makes a way. And God always blesses where he's allowing people to identify. I think those people who have supported the Glow Up is thus far. I think the people that have subscribed to the channel, man, I'm just thankful. I cannot thank God enough. Follow me on Facebook, the Glow Up. Follow me on TikTok, the Glow Up is. I'm on TikTok as well. Like I have 1 minute videos just encouraging people all the time, encouraging us. Because listen, we need it, especially right now, man. If you haven't voted, please vote. Please vote, especially if you're in Virginia. Please vote. It is definitely very, very, it's going to be very huge. It's going to be instrumental in a very strategic um, way because it's just a lot of things that's happening right now. It's a lot of things, uncertainty that's in this world. But we do know for certain as believers that God sits high and that He looks low and that He is still in charge. And so I am constantly reminded of that myself. But anyways, I appreciate y'all for being on the air. Shout out sis. Okay, sis. Hey, I still see you on here, girl. I appreciate you. And I appreciate all of the love, man. This is what we do, right? At the Glow Up is, man. We grow to glow. And when I told y'all before, y'all, when I'm talking to y'all, I'm talking to me too. This is about us, right? We growing to glow, honey. We are gonna do this work. We're not masking nothing. We're not gonna be comfortable. Like we're gonna dare to dream. We're gonna dare to do and dare to disrupt. Like that's what we do at the Glow Up is. We are going to do the thing, okay? We're going to do exactly what it is that God has called us to do, what God has purposed us to do, because that's what we do at the Glow Up is, honey. So I will see y'all next week at the regular time. At the regular time next week. 5:45 p.m. Eastern time. But today I could not get on because my job would not let me off because I end up getting on stuck longer. So I apologize for those of you who were here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern time on Fridays. Um, and shout out to those who are watching now that will watch this or replay this later on. Thank y'all again for your love and your support. Please share this if it blessed you. And I pray that each and every single one of you have a great weekend. And I will see y'all next week. All right, y'all. Bye.